In this episode, I run into a little bit of a snag with Project Low Fairmont's cooling system repairs. Welcome back, faithful subscribers. My name's Grant Tommy. This is my channel, Straight Six Fan, where I like to focus on budget-minded, relatable, creative builds, a little something I like to call offbeat hot rodding. And today I'm going to take you through some of the new stuff I've bought since the last time we checked in for Project Low Fairmont. My cooling system, unfortunately, I'm not going to get that wrapped up today. What ended up happening was when I started to make an online purchase order for parts at my local O'Reilly's, I realized they did not have all of the parts in stock that I would need. So that made me do an online order, and unfortunately I didn't get around to doing that until Thursday of this past week. So I expect those parts to hopefully show up on Tuesday. It would be great if I could work on this over the Thanksgiving break, but in the meantime, I did end up getting some critical parts and pieces, so let's get into that. As hopefully you saw in my Tuesday short video, we pressure tested the new radiator and found out it would be a good replacement, but I never did do a good side-by-side of the two. So here is the new radiator beside the old radiator. And the only minor differences between the two is the location of the lower radiator hose, as well as the transmission cooler lines are actually relatively close and in the same spot, but what I found was the two radiators had different fittings. Now you can see the lower radiator hose between the two is in a different location. I did test fit the new radiator, and it looks like a stock Fairmont radiator hose will work just fine. Last week, after purchasing the new the used Fox body radiator rather, I found that there was a difference between my stock 78 Fairmont radiator, the transmission line cooler fittings, and compared to the one I bought. So, not necessarily knowing exactly where to go to find what I assumed would be a fitting that would have this outlet with this inlet, I went to my friends over at ORR Radiator Repair. That's ORR Radiator Repair in Kansas City, Kansas, as suggested by Craig Durbin, and they hooked me up with the right fittings. They didn't actually sell them, but when I called the place and asked, the gentleman there said, well, why don't you bring by what you have and I'll see if I have any on hand. To which I did, and he gave me two of them for free. So I wanted to give them a shout out in this episode for helping me out, bail me out. We're gonna get these in on the used radiator, so that way I'm ready to go when I get my other parts. So let's get to that. So I will mention that last week I did go ahead and transfer over my radiator shroud clips from the old one to the purchased one. But as I mentioned earlier, so the local O'Reilly's didn't have in stock the parts, all of the parts that I wanted to get the job done here this weekend. So I'll tell you what I ordered, and that was a new radiator cap, because I realized the one from the old one, you know, we pressure tested that 2 weeks ago, and it was not holding pressure like it should. I got a new thermostat. Went with a 185 or 180 degree, whatever the typical is there. And upper and lower radiator hoses as well. The current ones don't look horrible, but the clamps that they used are the old style that Craig Durbin, when he came over, brought up a good point. They put just unequal pressure on the hoses, and so I bought new hose clamps as well. And so just thought, you know what, I'm gonna try to alleviate variables. And if I want the cooling system to operate well, I'll do that. I feel like it's just, you know, it's good measure. So peace of mind and that kind of thing. Again, for a budget build for the shape they were in, I wouldn't have necessarily been afraid to reuse the existing ones, but I just thought, you know, with new necks, radiator necks, it felt like using new clamps and new hoses was probably going to be best practice, just because I was afraid, you know, they might seat up. If I use the old hoses, they might seat up improperly. And so, again, alleviating variables, and so I feel pretty good about that. I did also order some radiator flush, because this one, when I pressure tested it, you could see there was just enough corrosion that came out with the water. But I just, once again, radiator flush, so cheap. So we will flush the system in its entirety with water and whatever that chemical is before we top it off with the antifreeze. But again, hopefully I get those parts in where I can work on them over the Thanksgiving break as well, and that way I'm back on the road with the Fairmont. But I've got one other piece to show you guys that goes along or complements all of the cooling system, so let's get to that. So I think I misspoke. I think I told you guys that I had made my O'Reilly's order Thursday night. I think it was actually Wednesday night of the past week, but Thursday night is when I ordered, as I hinted at, the complimentary piece for the cooling system. So Thursday night I went to jakes.com and ordered both an oil pressure and water temp gauge for Project Low Fairmont. I had a $25 gift card from almost now Christmas 2016, 2 years ago. So I used that. So again, I don't update you guys on the budget until I actually install the things. But I did want to show you guys the ideas I had for where I installed this. But like I said, I ordered these Thursday night and they showed up Saturday morning. So shout out to Jags for the Amazon Prime-like shipping to get these to me that fast. But let's take a look at the 3 different ideas of where to put these two guys. Okay, so option 1 is actually, there's enough space here between the speedometer and this, or excuse me, this is like my fuel gauge, and check engine light, all my dummy lights. There's enough room in the dash to put these up, stack each other, top to bottom on this part of the dash. Now, the pros of that is it'll be very clean, simple to wire. I can tap into the dash lights here, as well as routing. I should be able to follow something else through the firewall. Cons, because this thing is in such good shape, I guess it's the old historic preservationist in me coming out, saying I want to keep things as original as possible, so in case somebody else buys it, wants to take it back to more original state, they won't end up with 2 holes in the dash. And since this is in such good shape, part of me doesn't want to do that. Another con is I'd really, you know, it would be very evident if I don't take my time, line things up, center them, get the hole saw in. I'm also worried about maybe damaging the panel with the hole saw, but it could just wind up looking goofy. Okay, so that'll bring us to option number 2. For option number 2, I'm considering using my ashtray as a holder, getting rid of most likely the cigarette lighter, but that way I can build a little faceplate and put the gauges in the ashtray pointed up at me. This is good, gives me good line of sight, good line of vision, and if I'm tricky enough, if I do it right, I could even hinge the face so that I could sort of conceal it a little bit, you know, for the sleeper type of thing. So that way when you pull it down, it would, my thoughts would be, as you pull it, it would come out like so. Again, I think that would help sort of play to the role of sleeper. But let's go on to option number 3. Option number 3, here in my garage I have some walnut veneer plywood that I did some inlay on years ago, actually this was in college, that I feel like I could build a little gauge console out of, and because it is walnut, it would match the rest of the dash look. Now, although this is like a plastic laminate walnut, I do think the two are close enough that I could match, and I could put it down here, kind of build it up. I'm thinking sort of at a triangular shape up, and then the gauges would be right about in here. I would cut the carpet out to where the carpet, I think, would lay over the top of it, but then the walnut accent would be on the three sides. One last thing I will say before I go, when I did the pressure test on the old radiator, I found the leak to be in the upper part here on the front side of the radiator. But as you can see, down here on the back lower corner, we have some staining and some corrosion. So I'm guessing I may have had another leak down here as well. I think it's money well spent now, knowing what I know now. I can take this to the scrapyard and get some money back. But guys, what I want to know from you is, give me your take. What should I do with the gauges? Option 1, 2, or 3? I think I am least likely to do option number 1, although it would be easiest. Leave in the comments below your ideas, what you think would be best and why. But that'll do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Definitely make sure if you don't want to comment on the gauge options, at least like, share the video, or if you haven't done it already, subscribe. Again, I just ask you to do one of those 4 things, whatever's in your comfort level. But that'll do it for this episode, and until next time, peace out.